very best of the Nigerian enterprise, innovation, and governance. Let me begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to the President and Council of the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria, ably led by Otumba Adetunji Oyebanji, FCIOD, and to the Chairman of the Planning Committee, Otumba Bimbola Ashiru, MCIOD, for their kind invitation and for the deepening collaboration between the Institute and the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation. I especially thank you for the courtesy visit to my office and for your thoughtful initiative to make membership of your distinguished institute more accessible to the civil servants. This gesture speaks volumes about your commitment to developing ethical, visionary leadership across all sectors, and it aligns perfectly with our drive to professionalize the federal civil service and build a knowledge-driven workforce. The theme of this year's conference, Leading Through Change, Building Sustainable and Inclusive Enterprises, could not have come at a better time. It resonates strongly with the vision of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, whose renewed hope agenda is anchored on transformation, sustainability, and inclusive growth. The first part of your theme, Leading Through Change, mirrors the journey we are undertaking in the Federal Civil Service through the far-reaching reforms under the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan 2021 to 2025, which we popularly call FC25. We are retooling systems, retraining officers, and reimagining the future of work in government through digital transformation. From automated service processes to digitizing personnel records and expanding e-learning opportunities, we are empowering civil servants to perform with greater speed, transparency, and precision. Change is no longer something we do or we respond to, but something we lead. A cornerstone of this transformation is the One's Knowledge System, one of our most significant initiatives in the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation. The One's Knowledge System is a service-wide training and knowledge management framework designed to ensure that the Federal Civil Service functions as a continuous learning organization. It comprises 5 interconnected components: onboarding program, which provides a structured induction to new entrants into the Federal Civil Service, newly promoted directors, permanent secretaries, and chief executives of agencies and parastatals, ensuring a shared understanding of values, ethics, and expectations from day one in office. Capability development, offering comprehensive learning opportunities through cadre-specific and grade-level training, our structured mandatory assessment training program, our leadership enhancement program, and the e-learning platforms, as well as specialized partnership with institutions such as ASCON, PSIN, FTCs, NIDA, the Bureau of Statistics, and Nigerian Data Protection Commission. Our executive leadership development, focusing on continuous leadership growth through executive masterclasses for honorable ministers, permanent secretaries, and chief executive officers. Our exit management, supporting officers approaching retirement through agripreneurship and entrepreneurship programs, equipping them to transit productively beyond the service. Knowledge management, capturing, capturing, preserving, and sharing institutional memory so that knowledge gained anywhere in the service can be accessed and applied everywhere. In essence, the One's Knowledge Management System ensures that once knowledge is acquired in any part of the civil service, it becomes a permanent, accessible asset to the entire system. This is how we are institutionalizing learning, preserving experience, and ensuring the continuity of wisdom and expertise across generations of public servants. I also commend the Chartered Institute of Directors for your unwavering commitment to sound corporate governance, ethical leadership, and professional excellence. Your work is strengthening the quality of leadership in the corporate world, reflects the same values as we uphold in the public service. The alignment between your mission and ours is undeniable. The Chartered Institute of Directors, Nigeria, is nurturing directors who drive sustainable enterprise. The civil service is nurturing leaders who drive effective governance. Together, we are building the ethical foundation upon which national progress depends. The second part of your theme, building sustainable and inclusive enterprises, reminds us that sustainability and inclusivity are the true test of leadership. In the civil service, we are creating a workplace that values every voice and empowers every officer to thrive. Our reforms actively promote gender equity, youth inclusion, and opportunities for persons with disabilities. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the civil service remains the engine of governance and a vital contributor to Nigeria's economic development. Every reform, every policy, and every national plan depends on the effectiveness of civil service to turn ideas into impact. Through improved governance, digital innovation, and institutionalization of accountability, the civil service is helping to drive productivity, attract investment, and support the overall growth of our economy. That is why this partnership between the CIoD and the civil service is so valuable. When we combine the governance principle, discipline of the corporate sector with the reform momentum of the public service, we create a stronger, smarter, and more sustainable Nigeria. It is this human-centered approach that defines my philosophy as a leader, philosophy of leadership. At the core of my personal values is the belief that great institutions are built by people who work with purpose and lead with principle. My personal core values are represented by the acronym HIDE: hard work, integrity, diligence, and empathy. These are the values that have guided my service and leadership journey, shaping the way I engage, decide, and deliver. Complementing these are also my key performance indicators, which spell the word HEAL: help people, empower people, accept people, and love people. HEAL expresses the human essence of leadership, that true progress is achieved when leaders help others to rise, empower them to contribute, advance their potential, and lead and love with compassion. When we live by HIDE and lead by HEAL, we create workplaces that inspire excellence and nations that thrive on empathy and purpose. My charge to you today is this: lead with knowledge, lead with integrity, lead through change, and let your leadership be a source of value not just for your organizations, but for our nation. I once again thank the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria for your partnership, your dedication to good governance, and your role in shaping the next generation of ethical and visionary leaders. God bless the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria. God bless the Federal Civil Service, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
We create a stronger, smarter, and more sustainable Nigeria. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, can we appreciate Mrs. Didi Esther Wilson-Jack, ably represented by Hajia Fatima Sugra Mahmood. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. So next, we invite to give his remark Honorable Wale Edu, the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, represented by Indidi Chinoyelum Mrs. the director in the economic policy of the office of the Honorable Minister of State of Finance. Can we please appreciate Mrs. Ndidi as she comes to give us the Honorable Minister's remark? Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocols, please. I stand here to represent the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Idu, who is unavoidably absent due to other exigencies. Distinguished fellows of the Institute of Directors, it is an honor to join you at this year's annual conference, a gathering of Nigeria's foremost business leaders and governance professionals. Let me commend the Institute of Directors, Nigeria, for its enduring commitment to promoting sound corporate governance, ethical leadership, and enterprise sustainability. The theme of this year's conference, Leading Through Change, Building Sustainable and Inclusive Enterprises, could not be more relevant. We are living in an era defined by rapid transformation, technological disruption, climate change, demographic shifts, and evolving global trade dynamics. For Nigeria, these changes represent both formidable challenges and unprecedented opportunities. The question before us is not whether change will come, but how will it lead through it, with resilience, responsibility, and vision. As a government, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has earmarked on bold fiscal and economic reforms aimed at restoring stability, promoting growth, and ensuring inclusion. And I'm pleased to report that these reforms are yielding tangible results. Over the past 1 year, Nigeria's economy has shown clear signs of recovery and resilience. Real GDP grew by 3.13%, and in the first quarter of 2025, up from 2.4% a year earlier, driven by stronger oil output and expansion in services. The IMF projects our economy to grow by 3.4% in 2025, reflecting a renewed investor confidence and reform momentum. On the fiscal front, our efforts to enhance revenue mobilization are paying off. Transfers from the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee have risen from 7.6% of GDP in the first 8 months of 2024 to 9.5% in the same period of 2025, supported by improved tax administration and removal of fuel subsidies. Our fiscal deficit is narrowing, projected at 4.8% of GDP in 2025, down from 5.6% last year. Firm steps toward fiscal sustainability and debt reduction. We recognize that inflationary pressures remain a challenge. However, with tighter coordination between fiscal and monetary policies, we are beginning to see encouraging signs of stabilization in the foreign exchange market and the gradual rebuilding of external reserves. Our broader reform agenda is anchored on economic diversification, digital transformation, and sectorial growth. We are focused in agriculture, manufacturing, the creative industries, and renewable energy. Sectors that generate jobs and support inclusive prosperity. Through digital transformation of public finance and targeted incentives from green and inclusive investments, we are laying the foundation for a more resilient and diversified economy. But policy alone cannot achieve these goals. It is enterprise, the business you need, that will translate reforms into real progress. As directors, you are the architects of corporate vision and custodians of the long-term value. Your decisions shape not only the fortunes of your organizations, but also the trajectory of our national economy. That is why sustainability and inclusion must sit at the core of your business models, not as buzzwords, but as strategic imperatives. We need directors who will champion ethical leadership, empower diverse talent, and invest in communities. We need enterprises that see sustainability as a cost, but as a competitive advantage. Together, government and business can lead Nigeria through this period of transformation, building enterprises that are globally competitive, socially inclusive, and environmentally responsible. Let me assure you that His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is business-centric, and his administration values the role of Institute of Directors as a partner in nation building. We look forward to deepening our collaboration to strengthen corporate governance, promote responsible investments, and build a Nigeria where no one is left behind. In closing, I urge you to lead not just with foresight, but with courage. The future of our economy, and indeed our society, is extremely bright and very promising. However, it will depend on the choices we make today. Thank you, and God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We'd like to thank you very much. Can we please give her another round of applause? First Bank of Nigeria, a pillar of Nigeria's financial system for over 130 years, continues to demonstrate leadership in supporting enterprise, innovation, and sustainable growth. We're proud to have them as headline sponsor for this year's annual Directors Conference. It is now my pleasure to invite their representative to give a brief remark. Please welcome Mr. Shehu Aliu, CIoD, Executive Director, Public Sector Directorate of First Bank. Can we give him a round of applause, please?
Thank you very much. The special guest of honor, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, duly and ably represented by His Excellency Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, the Honorable Minister of Budget and Planning, the Chairman of the occasion, Dr. Shamsuddin Usman, Chairman, Board of Directors, Ministry of Finance Incorporated, and the chief host of this conference, Otumba Adetunji Oyebanji, the President and Chairman of Council, Chartered Institute of Directors of Nigeria. Distinguished invited guests.
Balancing that against the short-term
established protocol. My name is Shona Aliyu, and as duly introduced by the Master of Ceremony, I'm the Executive Director in charge of Public Sector Directorate, First Bank of Nigeria Limited. I stand before you to represent my boss, the Chief Executive Officer of First Bank of Nigeria Limited, who had wished to be here in person, but exigencies of his office made it impossible for him to be here. He has drafted a very brief remark, personally, that I'm going to read on his behalf. He sends his message of goodwill and apologies to the organizers of this conference for not being here in person. I will go ahead to read the remarks prepared by Mr. Aled Biosu. I'm privileged to be amidst this distinguished gathering at the 2025 Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria Annual Directors Conference. This forum has earned a place as the flagship platform for decision makers who help shape Nigeria's economic and corporate landscapes. First Bank is proud to be the headline sponsor of this year's conference, and we do so with a deep sense of responsibility and devotion to the broader growth and development of our dear economy. This year's theme, leading through change, building sustainable and inclusive enterprises, could not have come at a better time. Change is all-encompassing. In fact, change is the only constant in our environment, the climate, the global economy, and even in the expectations of our people. Change is necessary. The question is no longer when change will come. Rather, it is how prepared we are to lead through change. Economic transformation is happening at a pace we have never seen before, forcing us to rethink how we build sustainable enterprises, as sustainability is now more than just an afterthought. It is a strategic imperative that determines how organizations will stand the test of time. Inclusion is necessary if we want growth to be real to the people outside the boardrooms, to the market women, to the youth, to the SMEs, underserved communities. To navigate this landscape effectively, leadership must be intentional. It must reflect agility, pivoting as needed without losing sight of long-term vision. It must honor collaboration, as no sector can thrive in isolation. Leadership must rely on communication, listening and understanding the voices of employees, customers, regulators, and communities. Above all, it should be an embodiment of courage and ability to make bold decisions as required. The role of directors and boards has never been more critical. The board level sets the standard for inclusion, sustainability, and accountability, as this is where strategic intent becomes operational reality. Boards must lead from the front, setting the agenda for excellence while aligning organizational goals with national priorities. As directors, we should proactively engage the government to shape policies that enable business growth and serve as catalysts for change. We must continue to evolve just as the world around us is changing. Fora like this are not just ceremonial. There are practical spaces where ideas, there are practical spaces where ideas are shared, policies are made, and partnerships are established. You are welcome, Your Royal Majesty. I will continue with the remarks by the CEO of First Bank, Your Royal Majesty, Mr. Shegun Alibiosu. I'm concluding when you came in. As we debate together, let us not see this just as another conference, but as an inflection point to influence business polity and drive significant change in the industries we lead. The world is evolving very fast, and as we know, history remembers only those who lead with courage and excellence. Let us therefore be those leaders, building sustainable and inclusive enterprises for the good of our nation. On behalf of First Bank, I want to thank the Chartered Institute of Directors for convening this gathering of brilliant minds. My appreciation goes to every director and leader present here for the work you do daily in shaping the future of governance and enterprise in this country. As the bank of choice, we promise to always put you first while catering to your financial needs. You can always bank on us for your financial aspirations, as well as for sustainable and inclusive products and services for your value chains. I'm certain we will have a truly productive and impactful conference. Thank you very much. Good morning once again.
Once again, permit me to recognize His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, Khalifa Muhammadu Sanusi II. Can we please give him another round of applause? And now, ladies and gentlemen, we stand in the presence of history, a man whose life story is inseparable from the story of modern Nigeria, from the trenches of pro-democracy struggles to the corridors of policy innovation, and now to the summit of leadership as President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. His Excellency has remained the torchbearer of resilience, audacity, and vision, building bridges where others saw walls. Today, we honor not just a leader, but a symbol of continuity and courage, whose every stride is a reminder that leadership is sacrifice and governance is stewardship. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with hearts proud and hands together, please welcome for his remarks the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, ably represented by the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, CON.
Please sit down. Oh my God. The chairman of the commission, Dr. Shamsuddin Usman, the representative of the head of service, herself a permanent secretary, Fatima Shukra Mahmoud, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, Khalifa Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi, the president and members of the Chartered Institute of Directors, and the members of the organizing committee, representative of other ministers that are here, sponsors, partners, distinguished participants, good morning, everyone. Let me, on behalf of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, read the message he sent to me. I'm delighted to join you at the 2025 Annual Directors Conference of the Chartered Institute of Directors of Nigeria. Over the years, this gathering has become one of the nation's most important platforms for dialogue on corporate governance, leadership, and enterprise development. It provides an opportunity for reflection, sharing ideas, and setting new directions to guide Nigeria's public institutions and private enterprises towards a stronger and more resilient future. The theme of this year's conference, Leading Through Change, Building Sustainable and Inclusive Enterprises, couldn't have come at a better time than now, when the country is refocusing and taking bold reforms to align with global dynamics in economic shifts, technological disruptions, and climate change challenges. I understand that the conference will deliberate on salient issues related to business policies and practices, emerging development in the inclusive enterprise ecosystem, and sustainable development implications. These are issues reshaping the way businesses and governments operate. In such times, leadership must rise to the challenge. It must be visionary in charting new paths, courageous in embracing reform, and unwavering in its commitment to transparency, accountability, and social inclusion. Nations are redefining their economic priorities due to technological disruptions, demographic shifts, environmental challenges, and shifting global trade patterns. For Nigeria, a country blessed with talents, resources, and entrepreneurial spirit, the call to lead through change is not merely an option, but an imperative. Both historically and contemporarily, it is countries that imagine the future and work towards that future that tend to do better. As a nation, we face the challenge of diversifying our economy, generating more value in it, creating jobs for a young, vibrant, and ambitious population, and competing in a global market that rewards innovation and resilience. While change is inevitable, it should not, however, be destabilizing. As leaders, directors, policymakers, and entrepreneurs who are not averse to change, I believe that our administration's current reform measures present great opportunities for innovation and creativity. We're investing more to reduce the hardship our people are experiencing. In addition, we have put palliative measures in place at the federal and state level to cushion the impact on the citizenry. Leadership in times of change is not about maintaining the status quo, but about charting a bold, inclusive, and forward-looking path. Therefore, to lead through change is to face the future with clarity, confidence, and conviction, and incentivize innovation and technology adoption. It equally involves strengthening partnerships between government, the private sector, and civil society, and ensuring that enterprises are accountable to shareholders, culture, and the environment. As leaders, we must demonstrate that resilience and profitability can coexist with responsibility and fairness. For us as a country, leading through change is not optional, but a national imperative. With over 60% of our population under 25 years, our young people's energy, creativity, and innovation must be the engine of our growth and transformation. We are providing an environment that can drive our policies on renewable energy, digital economy, sustainable agriculture to global relevance. Against this backdrop, the government is expanding access to MSMEs, especially for women and youth, accelerating investment in renewable energy and climate-smart agriculture, strengthening digital literacy and digital infrastructure nationwide, and partnering with reputable organizations to connect local enterprises to global value chains. Let me remind us that we can choose to react with fear and hesitation, or lead with courage, vision, and purpose. We chose the latter. Hence, our drive, our decisive and courageous step from day one to confront the twin behemoths of fuel subsidy and exchange rate distortions. The renewed hope agenda, which is about confronting the future and making choices sustainably without blame game, in the last 2 years have shown great promise and results. Macroeconomic predictability has enhanced significantly, and we are committed to remain the course. Inflation is on a downward trend. Domestic production is expanding, and the economy is pacing the right direction. Recently, in order to mobilize all parts of the country, I, Mr. President, and the National Economic Council approved a program which will map economic opportunities in the 8,809 wards of the country so that we can support economically active activities in those wards to us to generate higher levels of growth in an inclusive manner. Equally, the 2026-2030 development plan is being drawn in a bottom-up manner where opportunities in the wards will be aggregated at the local government level to form inputs for local government plans, which will also be aggregated at the state level to form input for state plans, as well as aggregation at the national level to form input to the National Development Plan. We believe this will mobilize all parts of the country and give us a national plan 2026 to 2030, which will be easier to match to annual budget decisions by both the federal, state, and local governments. We have signed the new tax reform acts to enthrone fiscal discipline and improve revenue. We are implementing energy sector reforms, infrastructure investment that is crowding in private investments in a different way from what has been done before. We are committed to a $1 trillion economy by the year 2020, which no doubt involves a lot of work and a lot of opportunities. And in order to achieve that, we have introduced a number of institutional realignments to generate value in some areas that has hitherto been left moribund. I'm glad that the chairman of the Ministry of Finance Incorporated spoke ahead of myself, and he has even highlighted some of it. This is not in the speech, but it reflects those one of those institutional realignments, including the creative economy, including the renewed investment in the solid minerals sector, digital economy, the credit guarantee system to ensure that we support our private sector. The 2020 Agenda 2050 was based on the promise that we will mobilize private investment as well as public investment, but at least $100 billion per annum, with 86% of it coming from the private sector. as we are ambitious in achieving the $1 trillion economy by the year 2030, we must give place of pride to the private sector, and there's no greater place to start than here. All of you, as directors of different companies, are daily dealing with decisions that require mobilization and investing of private capital in our economy. And we must listen to you and support you and ensure that we work together. The support we have had from the private sector have been pivotal in the reforms we have undertaken. The triple reforms that we have undertaken are very risky and couldn't have been tried without the support of the private sector. But I'm glad that we are seeing the results of that commitment. So together, I want to assure you that we will stay the course of those reforms so that we will generate near or even higher double-digit growth in the next few years. I commend the Chartered Institute of Directors for its continued leadership in championing the values of good governance and ethical leadership. Your role is vital in institutionalizing good corporate governance that will harness our entrepreneurial spirit and build sustainable enterprises to form the engine of growth and drive our determination for sustainable development. I urge you to provide practical ideas and suggestions that will support both the 2026-2030 National Development Plan, as well as interrogate what we have been doing. It is not a monologue, but dialogue. Once again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor and privilege to declare the 2025 Annual Directors Conference of the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria open. I wish you productive deliberations and eagerly await the recommendations from this conference. I thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
May I very quickly invite the President Otumba Adetujo Banji, the President and Chairman of the Governing Council, to please come on stage for the presentation. We have just a few minutes as our special guest of honor is pressed for time. So we'd like to ask that we do that quickly and take the official photographs for this opening session.
Sorry about that slight delay. The good thing is that the economy is not moving at that pace. The economy is moving much faster. So on behalf of the council, members of the Institute, it's my honor and privilege to present this token to thank His Excellency for gracing the occasion through your very able representation. We thank you. You have been a very good supporter of the Institute over the years, and we hope that we can continue to count on that support. I must just mention the fact that even yesterday when we had the kickoff, which was a golf tournament, the minister was also there through his better half. His wife was also with us, so we want to thank you again for that.
Very much, sir. Thank you. Now go to somebody. So this before.
IPP, please join us. Okay. This particular award is non-common. It's an award that actually, under different circumstances, may have happened during the tenure of the immediate past president. But see how life is. I'm very lucky that it is happening during my own tenure. So maybe it was delayed purposely for that privilege, for that reason. But it will be remiss of me, because this was conceived by the immediate past president, so I'm going to hand over the microphone to him to actually handle it in recognition of that particular process. So, IPP, you've called me a Miloko, so still do this honor for us. Thank you.
Thank you, my president. I'm loyal. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I, on behalf of the chairman and the governing council of the Chartered Institute of Directors, to humbly and with respect, sir, ask our royal father, Khalifa Muhammad Sanusi II, the Emir of Kano, to be kind enough to come and collect this award. This is our award for leadership and excellence. And His Royal Highness was supposed to have collected the award in December 2024. But because of several other engagements, His Royal Highness was unable to be with us at the Institute. But at other occasions, when I go to the palace, His Royal Highness has said, I will be there. Your Royal Highness, we're highly honored. It's a privilege and honor for me to present this to you. It's an award for leadership and excellence. Anofi Abuja Award. Your Royal Highness, the award is ready for coronation.
A few words. Just to thank you. Mr. President, past presidents, members, I won't make a speech. I would like to thank you very much for this honor, and I'm pleased I'm finally able to come and collect it in person. I was told in December that I could not send a representative, and I really am honored to receive this. I think I've said enough of recent, and I'm going to, I usually like giving some space before I drop my bombshells. So for now, I'll just say thank you very much and leave it at that.
May I invite the head of civil service to please join them on stage. The chairman of the annual directors conference, Dr. Shamsuddin Usman, please join them on stage. Our keynote speaker, kindly join them on stage. I also invite the chairman of the National Organizing Committee to join them on stage. And the DG of the CIoD, please join them on stage. And of course, our headline sponsor, First Bank of Nigeria, please join them on stage. Bombshell he wanted to drop, he would have given it to me. I'll drop it on his behalf, and we'll see how far we go. It is both an honor and a responsibility to speak at this defining moment in our nation and our continent's journey. We are confronting some truth where we stand, and for me, given where we are as a nation and as a continent, it is time to tell ourselves the truth. Not to assign blame, but to take responsibility, not to lament, but to rebuild. Africa's corporate leaders must now step beyond the boardroom to champion governance reform, inclusive investment, and innovation ecosystems that transform enterprise into a purposeful engine of sustainable national development. Our continent, as we see it today, is still largely in a shadow. Imagine the world at night, a vast landscape lit by billions of lights. 1 in every 5 of those lights should shine from Africa. Yet, when we look from space, you see only a faint glow. That dimness is not for lack of fuel. It is because the wires that connect our potential to productivity are still broken. Our task, therefore, is simple yet profound: to connect the wires, to ignite the current, and let Africa shine in full brightness of light. Africa is never short of big ideas. We have quite a number of museums of ideas that people have generated over the years. But the question is, why are we not making progress? After 2 decades in various boardrooms, one truth stands firm for me: corporate prosperity without national progress is hollow. In our companies, we have mastered growth, strategy, risk, accountability, and performance. Yet, beyond the boardrooms, our neighbors still remain in darkness. Our youths are still searching for work, and our entrepreneurs still struggle to survive. It is time for the nation to benefit from the collective wisdom that drives the boardroom. Just as a successful enterprise aligns strategy, accountability, innovation, governance, and performance, so too must a successful nation. Over the years, we've spoken eloquently about the lessons from Singapore. Let's consider Singapore one more time. At independence, the country chose to run its nation like a corporation, driven by efficiency, meritocracy, and measurable outcomes. Through statutory boards and commercially managed state investments, decisions were made with speed, clarity, and discipline. Nigeria, indeed Africa, can do the same. We need to apply corporate discipline to public purpose. At this juncture, it is important to acknowledge and appreciate the deliberate efforts, courageous policies, and strategic foresight of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Through initiatives such as the Renewed Hope Agenda, the macroeconomic and fiscal reforms, the infrastructure funding and power sector revamp initiatives, and the ongoing drive to liberalize markets and unlock productivity, Mr. President has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to long-term national growth and sustainable development. His leadership is re-engineering Nigeria's economic architecture from fuel subsidy removal and exchange rate unification to the bold acceleration of public-private collaboration in infrastructure, in power, as well as human capital investment. These policies may be tough, but they are strategic foundations, the kind that turn short-term pain into long-term prosperity. They reflect a clear understanding that no nation can grow on populism, but only on productivity. Yet, it is vitally important that the man on the street, the last mile, the poor masses, must truly feel the benefit of these policies until our citizens can smile happily buying gari, rice, and beans cheaply, happily. We have not achieved anything yet. In Nigeria today, over 39 million micro, small, and medium enterprises generate nearly half of GDP and provide up to 88% of all employment. They are the true engine of our economy, yet the roads they travel, both literally and figuratively, are riddled with potholes. Power remains unreliable, finance remains scarce, policy remains uncertain. Our medium, small enterprises, they currently face a 13 trillion financing gap, which is about 17% of our GDP. Of course, this is a sign of failure. They are all signs that our economy is still waiting to be properly wired. In the boardroom, we celebrate profit and growth, but outside those walls, the national bottom line still bleeds red ink. For the stock price of Nigeria PLC to rise, the balance sheet of Enterprise Nigeria must be positive in all critical areas, from governance to infrastructure, from education to energy, from trust to transparency. This is the equation that determines the true value of our nation in the global marketplace. As shareholders in Nigeria PLC, we always would look forward to collecting dividends from the profit Nigeria is generating. Early in my career, I thought success meant a healthy balance sheet. If profits rose, I celebrated. Then I realized, even as the companies thrived, the nation's fundamentals remained weak. The lights were still off, the youth are still idle, the suppliers are still struggling. Of course, based on this, the walls of the boardroom are not boundaries. They are launching pads. Consider the United States, consider the US, the $200 million partnership between the Rural Electrification Agency and the Wheelite to build 400 mini grids and 50 metro grids, bringing power to up to 2 million people. This is not just a power project. It is proof that when policy meets private capital, darkness can turn to productivity. Each bulb lit extends the working day, powers a business, and illuminates a child's future, that enterprise truly then is serving its purpose. We must end the myth that development is solely government's duty and that business exists only for profit. A business disconnected from public purpose cannot prosper for long. The real economy thrives where enterprise and nation works as partners, not as strangers. For me, there are 3 clear priorities for sustainable transformation, not 10 complicated steps. And for me, the first one is let's fix the rules. Let's champion smart regulation and investment incentives that remove friction from small and medium scale enterprise. Let's streamline permits. Let's harmonize taxes and strengthen credit guarantee schemes. Let's use our influence as business leaders to advocate reforms. Let's have one regulation at a time. If every leader here fixed just one obstacle in their value chain, imagine the compound impact across the nation. Enterprise is not just sustainable until it is inclusive. Therefore, my second prescription is for us to wire inclusion into cash flows. Women and youth-led SMEs are too often excluded from finance and supply chains. Let's set inclusive targets. Let's pay small suppliers promptly within 15 to 30 days. Let's co-invest in reliable energy solutions for production clusters. Your success, my success, is tied to the success of our neighbors. The third prescription from me is for us to build the innovation commons. And what do I mean by this? True productivity grows from shared knowledge and collaboration. Let's partner with universities, sponsor incubators and accelerators. Let's open part of our data and infrastructure to startups for them to be able to develop new ideas. Africa holds 1/5 of humanity. It is time to match that demographic power with innovation power. When we build ecosystems instead of silos, we transform a continent of hustlers into a continent of producers. My fourth imperative, which I just added this morning, I must say, beyond these 3, one more imperative stands out: alignment. The organized private sector must actively collaborate with government in selecting and aligning priorities to enable big leaps in results from the standpoint of resource allocation for infrastructure, social impact projects, and human capital development. Africa, and particularly Nigeria, will record significant progress only when this alignment exists between public purpose and private capability becomes a deliberate, structured, and sustained strategy for a nation, where the government wants to put money should be influenced by the people in this room. And in our various organizations, when we align regarding the investment we're making as well, we're going to see quantum leap in those areas, not the scattered graph that we have today by way of human progress. We began with a continent in shadow. We saw the pain of entrepreneurs struggling in the dark, the need of government monopoly over development, and the gap between business density and productivity. We charted a way forward. We fixed rules, we wire inclusion, and build the commons. And finally, we align priorities. Now comes the decisive question. Not can we, but will we? We who sit around boardrooms, we all hold the keys to the prosperity of this nation and this continent. Therefore, I will ask the following questions. Will you use your influence to reform the rules? Will you design your business models to be inclusive? Will you invest in innovation ecosystem? Will you align your priorities with national purpose? If each of us answer yes, sincerely, deliberately, and consistently, then the next time we gather, Africa will no longer be the continent of dim lights in the night sky, but the brightest constellation on earth. Looking just at this room, I see eggheads, experienced mind and hands. I see people that's been managing multi-billion, almost trillion businesses and enterprise. The question is, if we measure the relative achievement of each and every one of us that are successful in the room, relative to where Nigeria is as a nation and Africa, are we really measuring up to the level of our success? We go to schools with the best of minds in America, and we're top of the class in Harvard, Wharton, MIT, and all the schools you can name in the world. But when we come back home, we do differently. The way to lead change is first to change ourselves, and therefore, ultimately, change the nation and change Africa. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
The way to lead change is to change ourselves and ultimately change Africa. What a keynote. Can we please appreciate once again our keynote speaker, Dr. Kola Additional. Thank you so much, sir. It's time for us to tell ourselves the truth, he said. It is time for our nation to benefit from the collective wisdom that drives the boardroom. And we need to celebrate and profit from the growth in the boardroom. And the walls of our boardrooms are launching pads. And there should be an alignment between the organized private sector and government. And that those who sit around boardrooms hold the keys to the reformation of this country. Can we once again appreciate Dr. Kola Additional? Thank you so much for all those questions that you have thrown at us. I'm sure there'll be so much that will come out after this conference. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to invite again the Otumba Adetunji Oyebanji, the president, because he's going to do a few presentations. Sir, please, we want to invite you to come on stage. Please indulge us. Thank you very much, sir. Can we please appreciate the president, Otumba Adetunji Oyebanji? There are going to be a few presentations now. Thank you, sir. So, okay. Can we have our keynote speaker, Dr. Kola Additional, MFR, CIoD, the GMD Sahara Power, to please come up, the presentation.
If I was going to summarize your speech, I think I would say, I would call it, let there be light. I think it was a very challenging and thought-provoking keynote address. Challenging in the sense that it's a call to action for all of us, because on whichever boards we sit, we make decisions every day that when you aggregate them together, represent the growth and development of Nigeria. So it is with deep humility, respect, that I humbly present this token, this plaque to you in appreciation of your presence and role as the keynote speaker at the 2025 Annual Directors Conference. I want to say thank you very much. We really appreciate your spirit. We appreciate you taking out time to be with us. Thank you very much.
Invite the chairman of the 2025 Annual Directors Conference, Dr. Shamsi and COS. Please let's appreciate him.
Sir, every time we have called you, you have answered us. In the past few years, I can hardly remember any event where we've asked you. You've not only come, you've been there, you've stayed with us. So I really look at you as one of the greatest pillars of support of the CIoD. We know. And not only that, you are somebody who we have looked at as a symbol of integrity, a symbol of good corporate governance. You've served meritoriously, I believe a two-time minister in this country. Never have we heard your name associated with any scandal or anything. So this is just a small token to show our appreciation. I'm sure there will be many more occasions where we will continue to honor you and appreciate you. Thank you very much, sir. I also want to proudly say that you have also, I don't want to use the word donate, but you have sent us your son to continue working with us on a daily basis. He's a member of our council. So really, I cannot but continue to thank you for all you have done for the Institute. So it's my pleasure to present this to you in appreciation of your role as chairman of the 2025 Annual Directors Conference. Thank you so much, sir.
The head of the civil service of the Federation, Mrs. Esther Abuja, ably represented by Mrs. Fatima Abraham, to come forward with that. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to ask the first vice president to handle this particular award. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is a privilege and an honor to have been given this task.